Good afternoon. May I take this opportunity, first and foremost, on behalf of the Inspector General of Police and on behalf of my Director of Criminal Investigation, who is my boss, Mr. Kamishna Robert, who had personally wanted to attend here, but due to other pressing obligations, he asked me to represent him, and he sends his apologies. I also wish to take this opportunity to recognize the high table, other distinguished dignitaries, members of the press, invited guests if there are any, and ladies and gentlemen in general. This is a very difficult task that has been bestowed upon me today. It's a difficult one in two senses. First of all, I'm representing the Inspector General of Police and the Director of Criminal Investigations. I wear shoe size 8. They put on size 10, 11. So it might be a little bit difficult for me to fit in squarely into their shoes. So you will excuse me if you find that I do not really qualify or meet some of what you had expected from them. But I'll try my level best just to tell you what they wanted me to tell this congregation. Secondly, I find it very difficult because being the last person to speak after you have let people who are very eloquent like this on the high table to speak before me and the other, it's quite a very difficult task, because I'll only be paraphrasing. Now, they say that if something has been well said, there's no need of paraphrasing it. You're boring people. But then, since I'm representing my bosses, you'll have to excuse me and bear up with me if I appear to be paraphrasing a little bit here and there. Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, we are meeting here because there is a reason. This training has brought us together because there is a reason. This training has been conducted because there is a reason for that. And the reason is criminality in general. We want to ensure that our people live in very, very safe, conducive environments all over the world, not only in Tanzania, not only in the region, in the African region, but also internationally. That's why you see participants and the facilitators coming from all over the world. They have sacrificed their time, but they also saw the importance of joining us to discuss these very important issues. It's one of the issues that is now the top of the whole world. The threat worldwide is big, it's imminent, though we have not yet experienced here in Tanzania, and God forbid we might not encounter any of these things, but we should be prepared. You cannot be prepared if you do not have the necessary skills and qualities that will guide you towards that kind of a direction. It is for this reason, therefore, that right from the outset, I would like to take this opportunity to very much to express our heartful and profound gratitude to the facilitators from the United States Department of Energy for financing us and for making us possible to meet here, for the distinguished facilitators from Interpol General Secretariat, Mr. John Buchanan. I was having a light moment with him before we came in, and I was telling him that he's a legend, a living legend. He said, well, what do you mean? I said, you know, I've been in Interpol circles since 2006, and I've been here seeing you and hearing, and today I'm seeing you here again. So of course you are a legend. It's because of the knowledge and the expertise that he and his colleagues has. Equally important, I would like to really thank you very much, all the facilitators from all over the world, from US, from France, and the other countries which have been mentioned here. It is important to have this kind of representation, or to have this kind of highly skilled personnel to come and assist us, because this is a gray area. It's a gray area in the sense that this is one of the emerging criminal trend in the world. It has been there for a very long time, but it has reached, or it is reaching, our part of the globe very, very slowly but steadily. We have our experts, very well versed in this field. Based in Arusha, we have the doctor there, who is in charge of the Tanzania Atomic Energy Commission, and his team of experts. But still the knowledge that is vested in them is not very big or adequate, and has not yet been taken over by the law enforcement personnel. So when we receive this kind of assistance from outside Tanzania, from Interpol, and from other parts of the world, we really, really very much appreciate and welcome it, because it is a timely move that would assist now the law enforcement personnel. When I'm talking about law enforcement personnel, I'm not only referring to the police, but I'm also referring to the customs department and the other organs of the state. We are all tasked with the duty of ensuring that the radiological or nuclear material is in safe hands, is well controlled, is well managed, and it does not fall into the hands of the wrong people. If by any chance it falls into the hands of the wrong people, then we have a very difficult task ahead of us. Just imagine over a situation. I hope all of you might have heard what happened in Chernobyl, Russia, some years back. Am I right? You might have heard what happened. You might have also heard about what happened in Fukushima. Fukushima? Yeah, Fukushima. The damage that this thing brought, the deaths, then the everlasting effects that linger on with the people of that particular area. What happened in Hiroshima way back in 1940s, the effects still lingers up to today. Now, if such an eruption could take place in 1945 and still have effects up to now, what will happen if there is this kind of a thing which actually is going to encounter the world? This gives us reason to be more careful, to be more concerned, because it's not for the people of Hiroshima only, it's not for the people of Chernobyl, it's for the whole world. This thing is going to affect the whole world, especially when these kind of things fall into the wrong hands, into the hands of criminals. We know that criminals of today are very sophisticated. They are very organized. They plan in country A, material or equipment for commission of the crime is taken from country B, actual commission is done in country C. How do you go with the legal regime? Which legal regime are you going to apply? Are you going to apply the legal regime of country A and expect to solve this problem? Are you going to resort to the legal regime of country B or C, etc., etc.? So we need to unify our strengths. That's why you see all these people here, because this is a war that should be fought collectively within the country, locally, ourselves within the country. We need to have a formidable, to form a formidable force that will join us, and we will be able to deal with our problems. But then at the same time, since this is something which is being organized, we also need to bring on board our colleagues from elsewhere in the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't need to overemphasize the importance of the training that we have just undergone. I heard from the presenters here, those who spoke before me, the areas that we have covered, especially the gentleman from South Africa, the gentleman there from South Africa, who very, very unfortunately we have fed him to the extent that when he goes home it's trouble for his wife. Don't worry, you can just let our callers will stand there for you. No. So you see, so we have covered a number of very important ground. For law enforcers, we need to know how to detect radioactive material, nuclear material. We need to have intelligence about the movement of radiological things. We need to know who to collaborate who, or who to inform and how to involve them in whatever sort of an investigation that we might be doing. We need to have even the ABCDs of how to cordon the area that we suspect to have been infected in any way by this radiological or nuclear material. So there is a lot really that we need to learn, but we cannot afford to learn it alone without the assistance of those who are more experienced than us. We need to have in place the necessary equipments. I'm told our Tanzania Atomic Energy Commission in Arusha is well staffed with the equipments, and it has the necessary staff in regard to personnel. But we really know how. That's why at least they are also here with us. They have attached the importance to this training, and they are here, and I'm told that they have done also a very commendable job. So we really need to prepare ourselves. The threats which are confronting us or which are facing us are many and immense. We are seeing the globalization of crime. Crime has now been globalized. It's no longer business as usual. The hitherto traditional crimes that we are used to are no longer there. We are dealing with sophisticated cases involving sophisticated criminals. I was reading one of I got interested some few days back. I was reading a certain article, and they are talking about, it happened in USA, about the Great Friday robbery. I don't know if you have heard it in USA. The Great Friday robbery. This is a person who actually started with pickpocketing. He was caught, jailed, served some sentence, and then came out. But from that moment, he vowed never to be caught again. So he ended up committing 40 Great Friday robberies in the United States of America. Why? Because he made preparations, he went for more studies, he did his bachelor degree, went for the master's, and then did the PhD. After that, he became a criminal. So you can see the kind of people that we are having today, the kind of challenges. We are no longer dealing with the kind of an ordinary criminal. We are dealing with a very sophisticated criminal. People who can really sit down, plan, think and plan. So, being faced with this kind of a threat, we need to prepare ourselves. The threat is not limited only to radiological and nuclear material. It also extends to biological threats, biological and chemical threats. We have not yet faced it this way, but we are not living in an island. That's why we are preparing ourselves. That's why when we get assistance from our colleagues, we really appreciate and welcome with both hands. As I said earlier, much has already been said, I don't need to paraphrase. But one point that I would like to mention is that we are very happy by the participation. We are very encouraged. I'm told almost 59 representatives attended this particular training session. I've just handed over certificates from the prestigious Interpol. This is one of the most prestigious law enforcement institutions in the world. You have just received these certificates as a recognition of your achievements. 59 is a big number for us to host, but nothing is just like a drop in the ocean compared to the workforce back in our respective duty stations. You have been blessed to have been picked to attend this training session. You represent the majority of people who could not be awarded this kind of a chance that you got. I urge you very humbly that when you go back home, don't take your certificates and hang them on your walls to decorate your walls or to display, but rather try and go and share the knowledge that you have achieved here with your colleagues. I would very much appreciate if you're going to see a multiplier effect from you. If you are going to become the trainers of others, because we don't know when next we are going to receive an opportunity like this one. I'm sure they are committed, our colleagues are committed, you have heard it from them. But in the meantime, we should also be able to be seen to be contributing something to our societies. We should go back home, share with our colleagues what we have noted here, and if possible, keep on corresponding with the facilitators. But more importantly, there's now you have established a network of contacts between yourselves. This is the most important thing. I'm sure somebody from Tanzania, if doctor wants to correspond with somebody in Zambia or Ethiopia or Nairobi or elsewhere, I'm sure you can do that very easily from the network that you have established here. If you failed to achieve that in this meeting, then you have failed in your studies. You should be able to be talking to one another, to exchange experiences, to exchange intelligence through the normal established channels. I know it's very difficult sometimes in other countries to exchange intelligence, but at least there are channels that are used, either through the IPSG or in the other channels, forums. There are a number of forums that you can resort to exchange intelligence, and intelligence becomes meaningful if it is timely. If I need intelligence today, and you spend a month to pass over that intelligence to me, that's is of no use, or the use might be very minimal. So I urge and request you to go back home, but to carry with you the importance of cooperating more closely with one another. Within your country, I can see others, you are not all coming from the police, others are coming from PRA, others are coming from customs, whatever. So go and establish networks within your own country, but also networks with your colleagues. Because nowadays, as I told you, crime has been globalized. The world is just like a small village. Within a fraction of a second, a crime might be committed somewhere without even knowing what has happened. We have to be more vigilant at our entry and exit points. Those who are charged with the responsibility of guarding our borders should devise strategies from what you have learned here to be more vigilant now. You now already know what it takes for this kind of crime to happen. So be more vigilant at our entry and exit points. I'm sure you might have been told about the importance of profiling of suspects, profiling of containers, profiling of suspects and things like this. Please go and put them in use. Go and put them in use and make sure that at least next time when Mr. Bachanan or the lady here comes, at least we'll be able to show, we can even share with them some developments that we have achieved, just to encourage them that the training that they are giving us is not for nothing. At least there's something in it. Master of Ceremony, Head of NCB, High Table, and the other colleagues. This is the 6th training session. So it presupposes that there have been other 5 preceding courses. I don't know if you have been able to measure the achievements that have been achieved in those 5 preceding training sessions. If not, then I will urge the facilitators and even yourselves when you go back, because I'm sure some of the participants came from your own countries, just go and see what has been achieved so far, so that at least we may make this training more meaningful. I therefore take this opportunity once again, because as I said, I'm only going to paraphrase just for the sake of it, because much has already been said. All the nitty-gritties have been exposed. So I just take this opportunity to once again, very sincerely, on behalf of the Inspector General of Police, on behalf of the Director of Criminal Investigation, to thank the facilitators, the United States Department of Energy, our Tanzanian colleagues, the organizing committee, for what you have really done. The small token of appreciation that I've just presented to you can in no way represent what you have given to us. These are just a token of appreciation. There is no way that we can measure the magnitude or the weight or the value of the skills, expertise that you have invested in us to reflect on the small gifts that we have given you. But please appreciate it as a small token from the Tanzanian police force. We welcome you very much. I know I was informed that during your training session here, you had time to sample the hospitality that Tanzanians are famed for. Because you mentioned it, my colleague my brother from South Africa, you mentioned it, you confessed. So you are welcome once again. Be our ambassadors when you go back to your countries. Tell your people about the good things, not the bad things that our colleagues talked about. Just tell them about the good things. We love you. We love Africa. We love the world. We love peace. We cherish peace. So with these few remarks, I very humbly now wish to take this opportunity to officially declare that this 6th training session on radiological and nuclear course has been closed. I thank you very much for listening.